Welcome to Quirky French Podcast, the podcast that helps you speak more confidently, feel more focused, and be more in control of your French learning journey. Prêt? C'est parti! Salut! Welcome to Quirky French Podcast, the go-to podcast where I'll teach you my quirky methods to become fluent and finally get over your fear of speaking. I'm Naima, and this is episode 3. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about self-confidence. If you feel insecure about your French, if you feel like you lack confidence as a learner, and if you wonder how you can grow more confident, then this episode is going to introduce some key concepts to move you in the right direction. But first, let's talk about self-esteem and confidence. Let's go through some definitions here. Confidence must not be confused with self-esteem. It's really important that we clarify this straight from the start. Self-esteem is not confidence. Self-esteem is about how you see yourself, what you think about yourself from a value standpoint. Now, with confidence, a lot of people think that confidence is about what you believe about yourself and your abilities. Not your value, but your ability. But actually, that's not it either. Confidence is about your ability to go for it and take action. So we're going to explore that concept, and we're going to start with a little questionnaire I prepared for you. Okay, so I've got 4 statements for you to reflect on. I'm going to be reading them out loud and decide whether or not you agree with them. I need to improve my French before I can feel confident in my speaking abilities. I need to overcome my fear of speaking in order to become confident and reach fluency. I feel the most confident when I am prepared. Making mistakes and experiencing failure lowers my confidence. So, did you answer yes to most questions? Here's the deal. If you did, then I have the pleasure to tell you that you're definitely in the right place and that you absolutely need to listen to this episode because you may have misconceptions about confidence. All the statements I just read, they all seem pretty reasonable, and yet they're all based on unhelpful thinking patterns and misconceptions. And so in today's episode, I'm going to talk about what confidence is and isn't. And by the end of the episode, hopefully you'll be able to look back at the statements and feel differently when you listen to them again. Okay, so what is confidence? I'm going to be sharing ideas that are based on French philosopher Charles Pépin and his book called La confiance en soi, or in English, Self-Confidence. The English version is also available, so if you want to find out more about confidence, I invite you to look into his work, and I'll put some links with this episode. One of the first things to think about is the concept of self-confidence. Think about the last time you felt confident. You did something that was a little risky, and in spite of the risk, you felt confident and you went for it. My question is, what exactly did you have confidence in? Are you sure you were confident in yourself? Think about that term, self-confidence. Is it truly yourself you were confident in? Perhaps you can't really explain it. Perhaps you were just feeling it. Perhaps you'll say, I don't know, I just had a good feeling. And that is what true confidence is. Confidence cannot be named or pinpointed. Confidence just is. Then, if you dig a little deeper, perhaps you'll start to come up with answers like, I felt confident in taking action. Now, feeling confident in taking action is different than feeling confident in yourself. Or you'll say, I felt confident in others around me. I felt confident doing the task because I trusted the people around me. Or you could say, I had confidence in my luck. I felt things were going to work out. Things were going to be okay. So can you see here that confidence is not inside of you, nor is it about you? So the concept of self-confidence, confidence in oneself, that should just be called confidence. And that kind of takes the pressure off already, doesn't it? So now the key question is, how do I go for it even when I don't have control over everything? Well, confidence is precisely about managing to go for it even though you don't control everything. It's not about believing in your abilities. It's about managing to take action in spite of your abilities or lack thereof. Perhaps you think that to become confident in speaking, you need to prepare over and over again so that when you go for it, you'll know how to do it really well. You'll think, I feel confident because I've rehearsed this a ton of times. But here's the thing. This is not confidence. This, my friend, is what we call competence. Competence is the ability to do something easily because you know how to do it well. That's not what confidence is. Confidence is daring to do something you have not yet achieved or something you don't quite get the hang of just yet. Now, relying on your competence can help you to some degree initially, but confidence is about stepping outside of your competence, outside of your comfort zone, where you aren't competent just yet. In other words, being prepared and competent in French is important and helpful, but only because it allows you to try out new things and get outside of your comfort zone. If you really want to grow, you don't just want to be competent and remain competent. What you want to do is be competent, get outside of your comfort zone, test things out, learn new things, grow. And then when that becomes familiar and easy, you'll know you'll be competent at that. So then you'll do it all over again. You'll step outside of your comfort zone where you're not quite competent, experiment with things, figure things out, learn and grow, and so on and so forth. Real learning and real growth take place when you're willing to allow yourself to become incompetent again and step into confidence. And this is super important, and I really want you to take the time to reflect on that. Think about competence and confidence as two territories. So I'll say it again, confidence is not something you have to have within yourself. You can look at it as a place you choose to go. You don't want to only rely on your competence. What you want to do is jump out of your competence territory and into confidence territory. A known territory, and that is the place where you train yourself to grow. In fact, let me give you an example so that you understand what that really looks like and why it's important. You could be very competent in French and yet have zero confidence. Imagine that you're heading to a job interview in French. You've been practicing over and over again. You went through 20, 30, 50 of the most challenging questions, and you've planned your answers carefully. But then comes a question you did not expect. What are you going to do then? The key here is not to rehearse all possible interview questions and answers ahead of the interview. You just cannot. No amount of practice will ever make you ready for every question possible. And when it comes to conversation skills, possibilities are literally endless. Conversation cannot be predicted. You need to move away from the predictability and the reassurance that competence gives you and be willing to step into the unknown of confidence. And so if your fear of speaking and lack of confidence stems from a fear of making mistakes or a fear of sounding dumb and being judged, what you don't want to do is study hours on end and get trapped into the illusion of practice, 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 because that's all it is. It's an illusion to believe that once ready, you'll feel confident. Because the truth about confidence is to go for it when you aren't ready. That's what confidence is all about. Go for it, even if you aren't ready. All that competence does is prepare you enough so that you can go for it when you aren't ready. That's all. And that's what growth is all about. That's what learning is all about. You'll never be fully ready for that job interview in French, but you'll have just enough to still go for it and handle questions that come your way. I'll give you another example. Imagine you're invited to a party where everyone's a native speaker and you've never met them, and you'll never be perfectly ready to meet all of them and chat away and do small talk, but you'll have just enough tools and you'll be ready enough to, dare and still go to the party and show up and walk into a known territory. You'll head down to the party and expect the unexpected, and you're okay with that. So confidence doesn't mean being sure of yourself. Confidence does not mean being ready. It just means accepting that there is doubt and uncertainty, and it means not letting this uncertainty hold you down and perhaps even letting the uncertainty drive you. It's about accepting the unexpected. If you really let this sink in, you'll see and feel that this changes everything, because now this opens up the door to more relevant questions in your learning. Instead of obsessing over trying to improve your French, now you can start to focus on what you already have, the tools and knowledge that you already have to develop your skills. You don't necessarily need to learn any more French. You need to use what you already have and be creative and play with it. Instead of getting stuck and freaking out when you speak because you're looking for that one word to finish your sentence, now you can learn to recenter, become grounded, and think of a creative way to get your point across. Instead of freezing because you don't understand the other person, you can now start to look at strategies to deal with misunderstandings as they come up. You'll finally be okay with the fact that you won't be ready, you won't control everything, not everything will go to plan, and you'll be willing to go through that experience. I hope this was helpful and freeing also, and I hope you now understand that to reach fluency, you're also going to need to develop your ability to step outside of that comfort zone and learn to deal with the unexpected and learn to explore the unexpected. That's what confidence is all about. It's not a personality trait or something kind of mystical or unachievable. It's just about managing to take action, even if you don't hold all the cards. The more often you do that, the more confidence you will develop. Okay, quick question. What is one thing you've been holding back and putting off because you told yourself you were not ready to do just yet? I want you to think of one thing and do it this week. It doesn't have to be a huge leap. Baby steps outside of your comfort zone are great as well. Now, if you want a little bit of help for this, and if you want to take this exercise a little further, you can head down to this episode webpage, quirkyfrench.com/podcast/episode 3, where you can download a freebie that I designed exclusively for this episode. It consists of a little guide that will allow you to assess your confidence levels. You're going to go through a self-assessment, and it will give you insights about your relationship to yourself and your confidence. And then you'll have a step-by-step guide to help you reframe your thinking so that you can start to feel a bit more confident as a learner, and you can start stepping outside of your comfort zone into your confidence. I would love to hear about the task you achieved this week, so please let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to reply. I wish you an excellent, confident week, and I'm already looking forward to catching up with you next week. In the meantime, keep learning, keep growing, and keep it quirky. À très vite. Bye bye.